黒崎くん、私が全部受け止めるね。
Oh my god.
This is why Bleach is number one. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War episode 45 Defend You has just come out, and I have seen reactions online that I have not seen ever. Like, last week's episode showing off Zaraki Kenpachi's Bankai finally after so long, and even Hisagaya's true Bankai. I saw people reacting to that, and I thought, wow, no, this is fantastic. You know, as a manga reader, it was great to see people's reactions to this, but not only to see people's reactions to this episode that's just come out, but even manga readers like myself reacting to this and just being in awe of what we've just seen. Like, I cannot believe what we have all seen. I have been scrolling on Twitter all for the past few hours, and just nothing. As I said last week, this was something I was not expecting. The amount of people reacting to what has been going on, like the people that have been talking about this episode and just not even just reacting, like quoting, like just showing the memes and everything that's coming out of it. This is just something I cannot believe that is even existing. And I can only say, let's talk about it. So, after last week's episode, we all knew what was going to happen, roughly about for this episode if you read the manga, but we did know at some point we were going to get a lot of new anime-only content, you know, as we've only got 5 episodes remaining and not many chapters left to adapt. So naturally, we did know we were going to get a lot of new stuff that wasn't in the manga. But to this extent, I don't think anyone could have guessed what was going to be put in it. So, apologies if I'm all around the place. This is literally, I'm ad-libbing at the moment, so there's no script or anything. This is just something I wanted to do, and I've always been wondering about doing more Bleach content, as Bleach is one of those animes that I hold near and dear to me. And I've always thought about doing more Bleach content, but honestly, there are so much better Bleach content channels out there that do a way better job than I ever could. But I just thought for this, I do want to have my own 2 cents about this, and just go over what was in this. And there will be some spoilers to the manga, regarding certain things that have yet to happen, and maybe certain abilities that we're going to be seeing in the next few episodes specifically as well. So if you don't want to know, by all means, I completely understand. And hey, once this has all come out, come back and, you know, talk about it. I'd love to have a discussion about this. I mean, we should start off in the beginning. Literally, the only manga content we actually can talk about is where we left off in the last episode, where Ichigo uses the Grand Ray Zero combined with Getsuga Tensho, hits Yuha. We think, oh great, that's it, and then we show Yuha still like, nope, I'm still good, I can still go, man. And then Ichigo having to do absolutely everything in his power to even hurt Yuha. But then we also get a new anime-only scene with Chad and Ganju bloody happening, and then Renji coming in with Rukia, and that was such a nice thing to see, and it gives me a lot of hope actually to what we may see in the future, especially with Chad, because of what things we've seen in this episode. We might get some more stuff for other characters that didn't get much screen time in the manga, so here's hoping. But even with that, like the fact that, you know, Rukia went off to help Ichigo and Orihime, but cutting back to Ichigo with what we've seen, and just going over the fight, and the fact that this episode was, of course, dedicated to Ichigo, but the star of the show was Orihime. Like, the amount of respect they gave her, and the amount of people that for decades have always said that Orihime is a useless, love interest of all. You know, she doesn't really do anything, she always complains, she doesn't do anything. Very silent now. No one's really saying anything in the negative. And I mean, I've always been one of those people that have defended Orihime, saying that she's not some helpless person that needs, you know, always to be rescued. And Kubo has really shown that Orihime is definitely someone that can stand on her own 2 feet and show she can, you know, not only look after herself, but even fight. You know, look after Ichigo even. And this was something many people, myself included, did not expect. You know, in the last few episodes, we have seen Orihime do more, especially with protecting Ichigo. But to go so far as what she did is something no one expected. And throughout the whole scene, like her using her powers to constantly reject everything, the amount of damage Yuha does to her, it was I've never seen anything, especially to a heroine, no less. Like, the thing closest I could think of was when Pain was fighting Hinata for that small segment. When he almighty pushed her away, we thought, she died, and that to be fair, that's the closest I think we've ever seen a love interest ever get hurt. So to see this much, implied gore, and from the blood and everything we saw, it's insane, and they really gave her moment, and I am really wondering what they're going to do next. I mean, again, as I say, apologies, we will be going around the place, but I will also be talking about Ichigo and his new Bankai form. Again, we knew we were going to get the Horn of Salvation, we knew we were going to get Ichigo's true Bankai, but to give us a form we've never seen before, and just its design, the references, not only to, his Vasto Lordy, but also the Hell arc. Sorry, Hell arc, the Hell movie. It's amazing. Like, I could not believe what we saw and what it did. The after images, the fact that Ichigo may be utilizing his power to change fate. It's impressive. And, we have one more form of Ichigo that we know of at this point. How are they going to change it? How are they going to show how Yuha fears it? I mean, we still will get things that happen in the manga, of course, but this shows more credence to the fact that Ichigo had this form. He was using it against Yuha, and it wasn't enough. It's impressive. Like, the amount of references in this one was amazing. It almost was a reference to the first time we ever saw Bankai against Byakuya. The amount of after images that were going up against, showing his speed. But again, then when we saw the black, when we actually went into Bankai, we actually saw the sky, we saw the moon turn red with the black outlines. It was impressive. And then once Ichigo does his Getsuga Tensho, the reference to when he fought Yukiura above the canopy, the black moon, the crescent, it was beautiful, honestly. And just everything that we saw throughout this entire episode was just a wonderful scene moments. Like Rukia coming in as well. I did see some people complaining the fact she maybe should have come into Bankai straight away, but it was nice having that little moment between Ichigo and Orihime, showing, a little bit of a light moment for what's to come, which was nice. So it was nice to see them chatting before they actually got into fight, and just seeing them working together. Ichigo, holding up Yuha while Rukia goes into Bankai was wonderful. We knew it wasn't going to do anything, but it was just nice to see something, like an attempt. And just Orihime constantly self-doubting herself, wanting more power just because she always feared that she was too weak to do anything, to protect her friends, to protect the one she loves. It feels like a culmination, honestly. Ever since she got her powers, she's always wanted to protect and look after one. Just everyone she cares about. And they really show that her power is beyond anything. I mean, even back to the Espada arc, everything that Aizen said about Orihime's powers was true. He knew what her powers could be. It wasn't a simple space rejection or even a healing technique. It was rejecting reality. It was rejecting the power of a god. It could even go to the tier of a god.
事象の拒絶だよ。彼女の能力は対象に起こったあらゆる事象を限定し、拒絶し否定する。起こる前の状態に返すことのできる能力だ。それは時間回帰や空間回帰よりもさらに上。神の定めた事象の地平をやすやすと踏み越える。神の領域を侵す力では。
This, again, I have theories about how they'll probably bring her back. Mostly it has to do with the whole thing with Uryu and Hashfault. Mostly, as we saw towards the end of the fight between Hashfault and Uryu, we saw that he had the glove. And initially you thought, oh wait, he's actually going to use his Let's Steal? But then of course, it seems like Uryu used his Shrift, the Antithesis, to actually move the glove onto Hashfault and snap it, which makes it a very clever move because Hashfault can't use his powers because, that was his whole thing. The only power he had was able to borrow the Almighty from Yuha. So by using the glove, he's not really going to get the peak of his power because he can't really do anything. He only has his Shrift and that's it. So the moment that power wears out, he's done. And, Uryu wins and he can go on to help Ichigo. We of course know in the manga that at some point it swaps over, and it does. We know that the Almighty is now fully swapped over to Yuha. So the only thing that Hashfault has at the moment is his Shrift, the Balance. So that part of the manga will maybe be the same. I mean, they might change some stuff up. But for now, at the current moment, it could go someplace we don't even know. Like, the fight will still happen between Yuha and Ichigo and Hashfort and Uryu. But how it happens in the end could be different. Like, the whole thing with Gerard. We know he's going to lose his power because, of what happens with Yuha. But, again, this is all completely thrown out the window. Everything we know about the manga will still happen, but how we get there is going to be completely different. We're only 5 more episodes until we actually get to the finale, and they're already showing us stuff that we haven't even anticipated. Hell, we haven't even seen the whole thing with Aizen yet, and we know, because of Aizen's voice actor, there is stuff in this that he's never done before that he's asking people to get excited for. When, there's like, oh, we're actually getting a Bankai. Are we actually going to get Aizen's Bankai? That's insane. Like, the things we've always wanted to know about, the things we've always theorized about what it could be, we might actually see. And it's just a pleasure to see people like anime-only watchers and manga readers like myself just reacting to this. Like, we all know, well, we all don't know, actually. So we actually all are wondering the same thing. What's going to happen? How's it going to happen? Like, the thing with Tsukishima and Ginjo, like the Fullbringers, how's that going to come into play now? Will Tsukishima still have to do his Book of the End with Ichigo Zanpakuto? Like, what's going to happen? It's the idea of we don't know. We have an idea, but we don't fully know what's going to happen. This is the excitement that has been brought by this. The fact that Kubo is able to expand upon his story and tell things that we just don't know. I mean, hell, there was even a point when Orihime got that new transformation technique towards the end. I honestly thought for a second we were going to get a form of Orihime that was a reference back to Kubo when he first was initiating Bleach, where he had the idea of giving Orihime a dragon form. And just because of what I saw, I thought, oh, they're actually going to do a reference to that. It didn't turn out the case, but again, it was a possibility, and I still think it could happen. Because I think Kubo has the free range to do all these ideas he's wanted to do, these all what-if scenarios, and all the things that he had a somewhat idea that he can now expand upon. It's fantastic, and I really just do wonder what's next. The next 5 episodes. The whole thing with Hashfort, will it still be the same? Will he help Uryu in the end? The whole thing with maybe the Visors come back for one last hurrah towards the end. The whole thing of Aizen helping towards the end of the fight against Yuha. This really feels great. And again, as I said, this is just a random, completely out of their conversation. I was just thinking with some people and just thought, I probably will do my own little video. If this even goes out, congratulations. You've actually seen me rambling like an idiot. But I just thought I'd like to talk about this. And who knows, I may do another video towards the end, or if they manage to just completely go out of left field and surprise us once again for the next episode. Because I just cannot say I know what's going to happen, because no one can. We just don't know. We may know what's happening in the manga, but with so much new content being added, we cannot for certain we actually 100% know what's going to happen. We know what the ending's going to be, but even then, what's going to be different? Like, what little tweaks will be made? This is a great time to be a Bleach fan, and it's great for all those people like myself who have been watching for decades, just always being told by people that Bleach will never come back, that Bleach isn't good, oh, it's absolutely terrible anime, how can you like this sort of stuff? These people are now either naysayers, and still somehow, or they have gone a complete 180 and actually love the series now, and actually have joined the bandwagon and just absolutely adore it. Again, whether that not be to just simply jump on the bandwagon for hype and, when it's over, just go back to just saying, yeah, it was fine, I guess. Who knows? But the ones who truly appreciate this show, I think will be standing the test of time. I think there'll be way more positives than any negatives for this. And honestly, once this is all said and done, I might want to do a video based on the whole 1,000-year Blood War itself, and maybe Bleach is just in general, really. I mean, we still have the whole thing with the possible Hell arc. We still have maybe the Can't Feel Your Own World adaptation, which would be quite nice. And just there's so many ideas and so many possibilities. And it's just wonderful to think that Bleach is in a state where it's not just popular, but people love it. Again, as I say, like, just you go on any social media right now and you're just seeing so much positivity. Again, the memes, the fun moments that people are sharing, the reactions. It's wonderful. And honestly, I cannot wait to see more. I cannot wait to see what Kubo has in store for us, and what other actors as well, you know, their moments I'm seeing online as well, and them having wonderful moments just talking about the experience themselves. I mean, we haven't even had the dub yet. Like, certain moments, people are going to absolutely go crazy when Johnny Young Bosch has to say Bankai in different forms, and, you know, when Orihime's voice actress has to do her moment. This is going to be a wonderful time, and I'm here for it, and I cannot wait to see more. And honestly, I think the future for Bleach is looking great. I want to see more. I want to see just people having fun. And to anyone that is wondering, well, once this is all over, what's next? I wouldn't worry. We have so much content. Again, whether it's Bleach or Burn the Witch, there is so much to look forward to. And as I said, if you really want to look into more of Bleach, there are the Can't Feel Your Own World. Characters that didn't get much screen time in this get their own moments in those books, so I would highly recommend, if you really want to keep going with Bleach, to read those. But I think that's enough rambling. Again, I probably made a complete idiot of myself. Next time, I promise there will be a script. But I just thought, for fun, why not? I thought I'd just do a little video just going over what I thought about the episode, what I thought about Bleach in general. And yeah, I want to see what the next 5 episodes. I cannot wait. And to everyone, I hope you have a wonderful time experiencing this. And here's to more Bleach. I look forward to seeing the rest of it with you guys, and be safe, be happy. Don't let anybody make you afraid.